you ready to jump into something kind of crazy today?
Always up for a wild ride.
Well, this might be one for the books. We're talking about meme coins.
Ah, yes. The intersection of internet humor and digital finance. Never a dull moment there.
And specifically, we're diving into one that's been making a lot of noise lately. It's called, wait for it, Trump.
You mean the cryptocurrency launched by former President Trump?
The one and only. I know, right? It sounds like something straight out of like a late-night comedy skit.
Definitely raises eyebrows.
Yeah, but as crazy as it sounds, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually gaining some serious traction. We're going to be unpacking all of this thanks to our source material, the podcast, Crypto or Craziness.
Well, it's more than just a headline grabber. The coin has actually seen a pretty impressive surge in value since it launched.
Oh, yeah. Like, how much are we talking?
It's more than tripled. It went from like $20 a token to over $70.
Wow, so people are actually buying into this.
And the trading volume is even more mind-boggling. We're talking billions.
Billions with a B.
With a B. About $24 billion in just a few days.
That's a wild amount of money flowing into a coin named after, well, you know, a former president. He's a pretty memeable figure himself, let's be real.
Certainly a unique branding strategy.
But this isn't just a joke, is it? Like,
Yeah.
Are people actually taking this seriously as an investment?
Well, it's definitely attracting some serious money, but whether it's, you know, a sustainable investment, that's a whole other question.
Right, correct.
Kind of reminds me of that Hawk to a Girl coin.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
It went viral, the value skyrocketed, and then boom, crashed and burned. A lot of people lost a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing with these meme coins, right? They're so volatile. Like, 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next you're, well,
Holding an empty bag. Exactly. They often ride these waves of hype and social media trends, and you know how quickly those can disappear.
So is Trump headed for the same fate? Is it just another flash in the pan, or could there be something more to it?
Well, that's where things start to get really interesting. See, Trump's company, CIC Digital LLC, they hold a pretty significant chunk of the Trump coin supply.
Significant, like how much are we talking?
A staggering 80%. That translates to about 200 million tokens right now.
Whoa.
And they've got plans to increase it to 1 billion in the next 3 years.
1 billion. Okay, hold on a sec. That's a massive amount of control for one entity. Doesn't that raise some red flags?
Yeah.
I mean, what about market manipulation?
It absolutely does. It creates a very uneven playing field. Those who hold a large percentage of the coins, they have a huge advantage. They could potentially influence the market to benefit themselves.
Right, so it's not just about memes anymore.
Not at all. We're talking about serious money here, billions of dollars at play, and the risk of a bubble forming is very real.
So what you're saying is that even though Trump might seem like, I don't know, like a fun, maybe even absurd investment on the surface, there's actually a much darker side to consider.
There's always more than meets the eye, especially in the world of crypto.
It's like venturing into the Wild West of finance, right? Where the rules are blurry and the stakes are incredibly high.
It's a good analogy. And here's another layer of intrigue. Major crypto firms, they're investing in Trump's inauguration fund.
Wait, really? So there's like a deeper connection between like traditional crypto players and this whole meme coin venture.
It seems so.
This is getting kind of wild. Big money getting involved with a meme coin tied to a former president. It's like a financial thriller in the making.
Well, it highlights just how unpredictable and frankly bizarre the crypto world can be. I mean, it's a space where memes can turn into millions literally overnight. And the lines between like entertainment, finance, and even politics, they're becoming more and more blurred.
So for our listener out there who might be thinking, hey, maybe I should jump on this Trump train, what's the most important thing they should keep in mind?
I'd say approach it all with a healthy dose of skepticism. Do your research, dig deep, and remember that meme coins are inherently risky, especially one like Trump. You've got the concentrated ownership, the connection to a controversial figure. There are a lot of red flags.
So it's not just about riding the wave of hype, right? It's about understanding the potential pitfalls and making informed decisions.
Exactly. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. That's rule number 1 in crypto.
Absolutely, because in the world of crypto, even the most outlandish ideas can gain traction.
That's for sure.
Doesn't mean they're all going to be successful, though.
Not by a long shot.
So what we're seeing here, it's more than just a meme coin, isn't it? It's like a glimpse into this future where celebrity, politics, and finance, they're all intertwined in this digital space.
It's definitely a sign of the times. And it raises a lot of questions. Is this the beginning of a new era, you know, where meme-driven financial empires become the norm? Or is it just another bubble waiting to burst?
I guess only time will tell. But before we get too lost in the future, let's dig a little deeper into the specifics of Trump itself. Let's talk about the technical side of things. This coin isn't just floating out there in the digital ether, right? It's built on something called the Binance Smart Chain. Can you tell our listener a bit more about that?
Sure. Think of the Binance Smart Chain as like a highway system for cryptocurrencies. It provides the infrastructure, the foundation for Trump and many other tokens to operate.
So it's like piggybacking on existing technology.
Exactly. Makes sense for a new coin trying to gain a foothold.
Right. But then what about its purpose? Why does Trump even exist beyond just being, like a speculative asset? Does it have any real-world utility?
Well, that's where things get a little murky. The official website, the promotional materials, they're all pretty vague on specifics.
Really?
Yeah. They focus mostly on its connection to Trump and its potential for growth. Playing on that idea that anything associated with him just turns to gold.
Ah, the Midas touch narrative.
Exactly. A lot of hype, not a lot of substance. It's like they're banking on name recognition and that, meme ability of Trump rather than offering a concrete plan for how the coin will actually be used.
So basically a gamble on whether the Trump brand will continue to hold value in this, digital space?
Pretty much. And that's where the risk lies. If the hype fades or if Trump's popularity takes a hit, well, the value of the coin could plummet pretty quickly. Remember, memes are fleeting. What's trending today can be forgotten tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a fickle world out there. And that brings us back to that 80% ownership stake held by Trump's company. That's a lot of power concentrated in one place,
That's a major concern.
Raises questions about whether this is a legitimate investment opportunity or potentially, a setup for market manipulation.
It's definitely a red flag. That kind of concentration of ownership, it creates an uneven playing field and raises concerns about transparency and fairness.
Yeah, it's like playing a game where the house always wins. But even beyond the potential for manipulation, what about the legal and regulatory implications? Could Trump attract unwanted attention from, authorities?
It's certainly a possibility. Regulators are starting to take a much closer look at the crypto space, especially meme coins, which are often associated with pump and dump schemes and other, shady activities. And Trump, with its connection to such a high-profile figure and its unorthodox structure, it could easily end up under scrutiny.
So even if the market doesn't turn against it, there's a chance that legal challenges or investigations could impact its value and longevity.
Exactly.
And we haven't even touched on the ethical questions surrounding a former president launching his own cryptocurrency.
It's a complex situation with a lot of potential ramifications.
The Trump saga is definitely far from over. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a case study in the wild, unpredictable world of crypto. And it highlights the need for investors to be informed, be cautious. But before we go any further, I think it's time to shift gears a bit. You mentioned earlier that Trump also launched a collection of NFTs. I think our listeners would be fascinated to hear about that.
Oh, absolutely. That was quite an event. And it actually might provide some clues about his strategy with Trump. Back in December of 2022, he released a series of NFT digital trading cards featuring, and this is not a joke, images of himself in various heroic poses.
Hold on. You're kidding, right? Trump trading cards. Like baseball cards, but with Trump.
You heard right. Picture Trump as a superhero, an astronaut, even a cowboy, all digitally rendered and ready for trading on the blockchain.
It sounds like something straight out of WAP, like a meme generator.
Well, the internet definitely had a field day with it. Some people saw it as a brilliant marketing ploy, tapping into that meme culture we were talking about earlier. Others questioned its taste and its purpose.
But did they actually sell?
Oh, they did. And surprisingly well, actually. The initial batch, 45,000 NFTs, sold out within a day, generated millions in revenue.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive, even if the concept is a bit out there.
Yeah, it shows the power of Trump's personal brand, his ability to tap into a very dedicated fan base, even in the unconventional world of digital collectibles.
You know what this reminds me of? Those Trump NFTs. Do you think maybe this coin, Trump, is like another attempt to capitalize on his brand, but just in a different way?
It's certainly possible. Both ventures, they leverage his image, they appeal to his supporters. It's fascinating to see how he's navigating this digital landscape, blurring the lines between politics, business, and entertainment.
So first NFTs, now a meme coin. What's next? Trump launching his own metaverse.
Stranger things have happened, right? The point is, Trump's ventures into this digital world, however unconventional they may seem, have proven to be financially successful.
It's like he's figured out how to monetize his persona in this digital age. He's tapping into the meme culture, the speculative frenzy of the crypto market.
And it raises a really interesting question. Is this a trend that we're going to see more of? Will other celebrities and public figures follow suit, launch their own meme coins and digital assets?
I mean, if Trump can do it, why not everybody else? Imagine a world where every celebrity has their own token, all vying for a piece of the digital pie.
It's certainly a possibility. The lines between entertainment, finance, and technology are getting blurrier by the day. And the concept of these celebrity-backed digital assets is gaining traction.
It's like a whole new frontier of fandom, right? Where supporting your favorite celebrity goes beyond buying their merch. You're investing in their digital empire.
It's true. And that raises both opportunities and risks. On one hand, it could create new avenues for fan engagement and potentially generate wealth, both for the celebrity and their supporters.
But on the other hand, it could also lead to a highly speculative and volatile market where fans are much more susceptible to financial losses.
Exactly. It's essential for individuals to approach these investments with caution. Do your due diligence before jumping on any meme-driven bandwagon.
It's a reminder that in this wild world of crypto, where memes can turn into millions overnight, you have to stay informed, stay skeptical, and above all, protect yourself from financial risks.
Well said. Now, let's delve a bit deeper into the specifics of the Trump coin itself.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech behind Trump, the Binance Smart Chain and all that. We've also touched on how it's really playing up that whole Trump brand.
Yeah.
But what are people actually saying about it? Like, what's the buzz in the crypto community?
It's kind of all over the place, really. You've got the diehard Trump supporters.
Yeah.
They see it as a way to show their loyalty, maybe even make some money off of his name recognition.
Right.
They believe in his, business savvy, and they think this is just another venture that's going to be successful.
I could see the appeal for sure. It's like you're not just buying a coin, you're buying into a part of the Trump brand. It's like a digital souvenir that could potentially skyrocket in value.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have others who are way more skeptical. Even within the crypto community itself, they see this as a blatant cash grab. Just another way for Trump to capitalize on his fan base without really offering anything of substance.
I see what you mean. It's like those celebrity endorsed products that, promise the world and then end up being total duds. But even if it is just a cash grab, isn't that part of the game in crypto? There are tons of coins out there with questionable utility that people are still buying and selling like crazy.
True. There's definitely a speculative element to almost every cryptocurrency out there. But I think the difference here is the potential for manipulation and the fact that so much of the supply is controlled by one single entity.
Right, that 80% ownership stake, that's a major red flag for sure. It's like playing poker with someone who can see all your cards. Are there any examples of other politically backed crypto projects that we can compare this to? Has this been done before?
There have been a few attempts, but none have really reached the same level of scale or notoriety as Trump. There was one called VoteCoin a few years back.
Cool coin.
Yeah, it was supposed to promote voter participation and stuff, but it never really gained much traction.
So this is uncharted territory in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We're seeing politics, celebrity, and finance all converging in a way that we haven't really seen before. And it's happening in the crypto space, which is already, known for being kind of volatile and lacking regulation.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm of factors that makes this whole Trump thing both fascinating and potentially very dangerous.
It's fascinating because it's like a social experiment playing out in real time, but it's dangerous because people could lose a lot of money if things go south. And we haven't even talked about the potential ethical and legal ramifications.
Oh yeah, there are definitely some gray areas to consider there, could Trump be used for political fundraising? Could it be used to bypass campaign finance laws? Or could it even be used to influence policy decisions or reward donors?
Wow, okay. Now that you mention it, that opens up a whole other can of worms. It's like we've stumbled onto a plot line from House of Cards, but with cryptocurrency instead of envelopes full of cash.
It's definitely a scenario that regulators and lawmakers are going to have to grapple with. As crypto becomes more mainstream, it's inevitable that it's going to intersect with politics in ways that we can't even imagine yet.
And it's not just politicians. We're already seeing athletes, musicians, social media influencers, they're all launching their own tokens. It's becoming a trend.
It makes sense. It's a way for them to engage with their fan base on a whole new level, potentially generate new revenue streams. But it also raises questions about, the blurring of lines between fandom and financial investment.
Yeah, where do you draw the line? Is it okay for your favorite celebrity to encourage you to invest in their crypto project? What happens if that project fails and their fans lose money? It's a tricky situation for sure.
It is, and it really highlights the need for more transparency and education in the crypto space. People need to understand the risks involved and not just get caught up in the hype because, their favorite celebrity is endorsing something.
Right. It's a good reminder that due diligence is crucial, even when it comes to things that seem fun or exciting. But let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. What does the emergence of Trump and all these other celebrity-backed coins tell us about, the future of finance?
Well, I think it points to a future where finance is a lot more personalized, more social, more intertwined with entertainment and technology.
So instead of just investing in, traditional stocks and bonds, we're going to be investing in the digital assets of our favorite brands, celebrities, online community.
It's a real possibility. Cryptocurrency, it allows for that kind of direct connection between creators and fans, businesses and customers. It's a whole new way of thinking about ownership and participation.
But it's also a potential minefield, especially if people are making investment decisions based on emotions or, loyalty to a certain celebrity or brand rather than sound financial principles.
That's the danger. It's really easy to get swept up in the excitement of a new project or the allure of a celebrity endorsement. But it's so important to remember that crypto is still very young, very volatile. There are a lot of unknowns and a lot of potential for scams and manipulation.
So what's your takeaway for our listener who's trying to, make sense of all this?
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay skeptical. Don't be afraid to ask questions, do your research, and be wary of anything that sounds too good to be true.
That's great advice. And remember, this is your deep dive. It's up to you to explore further and form your own conclusions. But we're not done yet. We've talked a lot about the risks associated with Trump, but what about the potential upside? Is there any scenario where this coin actually succeeds?
Well, it's not impossible. If Trump manages to, maintain his relevance and popularity, and if the team behind Trump can deliver on their promises, build a strong community around the coin, it could potentially become a valuable asset.
So it's a long shot, but not totally out of the question. But even if it does succeed, there are still some, ethical and social implications to think about.
Oh, absolutely. If Trump becomes a legitimate, widely traded cryptocurrency, it raises all sorts of questions about the role of money in politics and the influence that wealthy individuals can have through digital assets. It could also further blur those lines between fandom and financial investment, creating a whole new form of celebrity worship that's tied to money.
It's a lot to think about. And it's clear that Trump is way more than just a meme coin. It's a symbol of this larger shift that's happening in finance, in society as a whole.
It's a reminder that the world's changing rapidly, and the way we think about money, technology, even fame, it's evolving right in front of our eyes.
And who knows what the future holds, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll all be trading Trump coins at Mar-a-Lago one day.
Or maybe it'll just fade into obscurity like so many other meme coins before it.
Only time will tell.
Exactly.
And on that note of uncertainty, let's take a quick pause and come back to wrap things up.
Okay, so we're back. Ready to wrap up our deep dive into the wacky world of Trump, the meme coin that's got everyone talking.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. The technical stuff, the potential risks and rewards, and even, those bigger ethical and social questions.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride. And I gotta say, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what this whole thing represents. I have a feeling this story is far from over.
Oh, for sure. This is a developing situation, if there ever was one. Exactly. But for now, let's try to distill some key takeaways for our listeners.
Right.
What are the most important things people should keep in mind when navigating this wild west of meme coins and celebrity-backed crypto projects?
Well, I think the most crucial thing is, approach it all with a critical eye, with a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't let the hype, the FOMO, that fear of missing out, sweep you away.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement, especially when you see people making money or, your favorite celebrities endorsing a project. It's tempting to just jump in head first.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to do your research, understand the technology behind it, assess the risks, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's rule number one.
Seriously, solid advice. And it's a good reminder that just because a project is associated with, a famous person or a popular meme
Right.
doesn't guarantee success.
Right. In fact, it could actually increase the risk, as we've seen with Trump and that concentrated ownership structure.
Right.
So always look beyond the surface. Try to understand the underlying fundamentals of any crypto project before you even think about investing.
And don't be afraid to reach out for advice from, trusted sources. Or ask questions if something doesn't seem right. There's a ton of information out there, but it's important to, be discerning, critically evaluate what you're reading or hearing.
Couldn't agree more. And the crypto world is always evolving, so what might be true today might not be true tomorrow. You gotta stay informed, stay adaptable, be prepared for the unexpected.
Well said. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. Do you think Trump, despite all its flaws and controversies, could actually be a catalyst for positive change in the crypto space?
It's an interesting question for sure. It's certainly possible that the attention it's bringing to issues like market manipulation, regulation, and the role of celebrity in finance, it could actually lead to more scrutiny and ultimately a more, mature and responsible crypto ecosystem.
So it could be like a wake-up call, forcing both investors and regulators to really take a closer look at the potential pitfalls and then, develop safeguards to protect against them.
Exactly. Sometimes it takes a controversial event or a high-profile failure to expose those weaknesses and drive real change.
And in a way, that's the beauty of the crypto space, right? It's
Yeah.
constantly experimenting. It's like a living laboratory where new ideas are being tested, boundaries are pushed, and the future of finance is taking shape.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure, and we're all on it together.
So, to our listeners out there, we encourage you to keep exploring. Stay curious, engage in this ongoing conversation about the future of money, technology, everything.
And remember, the most important thing is to make informed decisions that align with your values, your financial goals.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of Trump and the rise of meme-powered finance. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.